Hi, my name is George Belleville. I'm a realtor in Maryland, and I am making this video because I want to explain a little bit further about what we call the Head for Home path. We created the PATH acronym as a way to remember all the steps and to present them clearly to people and to help you remember them once you've heard it. So for home buyers, what the PATH means is, well, first of all, what PATH means is plan, assess, take action, head for home. And that's four things that are easy for us to remember, and to remember that we're going over each step in our mind and together with you so we don't miss a step. So obviously plan is the first one. P is for plan, and it's really important to have a plan. Sometimes people kind of step sideways into buying a house or something that they've been thinking about, but it really is a good exercise to sit down and write down what you want and have an actual plan, because it clarifies some issues, it clarifies your timing, and it makes it seem more real rather than we're thinking about buying a house or we're considering it. When you put it in writing like that and actually say it, it's actually very helpful, and it makes it much less likely, or much more likely, to have a positive outcome. So we want to be blank by blank so we can blank. So we want to be in this neighborhood by this date so our kids can start school there, or we want to be in this town by this date because we're being transferred, whatever the case may be. But putting it in writing is very, very helpful. The second one is to assess, and we have some subcategories under that, which are the 4 M's, which are money, motivation, must have, may have, and then where and when. And we use money, it's really finances, but that adds another letter, makes it hard to remember. So for money, if you're a buyer, we're assessing your finances, your ability, what you can qualify for. But we're also assessing the market in general, money in general in the real estate market. What are interest rates? What's the market for housing? What are the sellers up against? What kind of inventory is there? The kind of thing in the market. So money really is finances, but it's easier to remember to say money. So motivation is actually, what's your motivation? How motivated are you to buy a house? Are you thinking about it? Usually if people say the word try, that's a pretty good indicator that they might not want to do the hard work of buying a house, because it's not an easy process. It requires some discipline and some organization and some effort and some hard conversations. So part of that is, so the motivation also determines, just exactly what you're going to do and how hard you're going to push for it. And that's an important conversation. The must-haves are the things that you absolutely think you want at the beginning of the process in your house: number of bedrooms, bathrooms, location, price, all of the things, and those are the things that you think you must have. And then the may-haves are the nice-to-haves, the things you wouldn't mind having. Say, you want a certain kind of house, you'd love to back to open space or have a great view, but if you can't get that, you're okay with that. And I'll tell you what usually happens is you start looking for houses and going out there and see what you can get for your price range and your geography. Sometimes the must-haves and the may-haves will switch places a little bit. And that can be some interesting conversations, especially when it's two people buying the house. But it's really important to understand that can happen. It's a challenge to go into buying a house with a rigid idea of what you want. You have to be a little bit flexible. So that's the must-have and the may-have. And then where and when are kind of obvious, right? So you have a timeline. When, if you have a lease, you have to get out of your lease. If you're being transferred, you might have a baby on the way. There are all kinds of things that can generate a when in the real estate process. And obviously we have to figure that all into what we're doing and kind of back that into when we start. And then there's the where, and that's the geography. And that's another one that can change too. So in our MLS search system, we can put in various locations and do searches based on the commuting time from that location. So if you had two people and one worked at Johns Hopkins and one worked at, say, like the Applied Physics Lab in our county, and they both were willing to drive 45 minutes, we can actually do a search that lays out what those two 45-minute commutes would cover and then look where they overlap. And what usually happens is people, they want to drive just a little bit farther to get a little bit bigger house, because that's usually how it works. So the where can be flexible too. So, and I think with all of these, it's kind of good to go into it with the understanding that none of it is fixed, none of it is rigid, and we all have to be kind of flexible to get you the house you want. So that is it. That's the plan, assess. Take action is really just the process. That's what we cover when we actually go out looking for a home. So you've done your loan application, they have all your paperwork, you've done that work, and the taking action is going out, looking at houses and doing that process. And then head for home is really the contract to close process. So once we've found a house, those are all the things that happen after that while you're heading towards your new home. And that can be the inspections, appraisals, title work, all of those things that happen as part of that process. So we kind of put this together to just make it a little bit easier to remember, to share it with you, so we know that we're always on point and we don't forget anything in our conversations with you. So hopefully that makes sense with the path. Plan, assess, take action, head for home. And if you want to head for home or have any other questions, our contact information is below, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.